Beijing's epidemic handling is unusual, green codes found unexpectedly in parts of China. Yunnan villagers unite against Farmland to Forest initiative, taking collective action to resist. Daring to sell anything. Hengyang's 1.8 billion yuan auction big data sparks public outrage. Xia's arrest revealed, Zhongzhi department's 6 chairmen unreachable. Commentator, China today only needs one gunshot. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Beijing's epidemic handling is unusual, green codes found unexpectedly in parts of China. The recent outbreak of unexplained pneumonia and other respiratory diseases in China has attracted international attention. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, authorities responded to the World Health Organization, WHO, asserting that no new pathogen has been identified. However, other experts point out that Beijing's measures to handle the epidemic are unusual and may echo the scenario of concealing the outbreak of the coronavirus in previous years. Simultaneously, mainland netizens have unexpectedly discovered that the Green Code, offline for nearly a year in various places, has reappeared in certain cities. According to Voice of America, VOA, Maria van Kerkhove, head of the WHO's Department of Epidemiology, mentioned in an interview with the medical media Stat on November 24 that the WHO has cross-validated China's data using different methods. Van Kerkhove believes that the expansion of the immunity gap and new testing methods can capture the incidence of such pathogens across China, but this does not necessarily indicate the presence of new pathogens. Some medical professionals agree with the concept of an immunity gap and immunity debt, suggesting that the current infectious disease outbreak in China might be a retaliatory surge caused by a decline in population immunity due to the CCP's restrictive measures during the 3-year epidemic. However, some public health experts express caution, noting abnormal situations in China and suspecting that the authorities may be concealing the situation, similar to several years ago. Renowned Chinese-American epidemiologist and public health expert Eric Fiegelding stated on the social media platform X, "I've heard from many insiders telling me that government authorities are instructing Chinese doctors not to report any numbers, not to test patients, and not to report any tests." This sounds exceptionally familiar. Molecular biologist at the Broad Institute and author of Viral, The Search for the Origin of COVID-19, Alina Chan, told Voice of America, "Since the COVID-19 pandemic, when we hear news of unexplained outbreaks anywhere in the world again, many people experience heightened caution, stress, and suspicion. This indicates a low level of trust in governments sharing important information and equally low trust in health organizations obtaining data promptly." Chan suggested that the U.S. government's focus should be on collecting and analyzing as many samples as possible, such as samples from travelers returning from affected areas or collected on airplanes. She said, "If such efforts have not yet begun, then unfortunately, we haven't learned much from the COVID-19 pandemic." Professor Annie Sparrow, associate professor at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York, voiced concerns in a November 28 article in Foreign Policy. She highlighted the potential danger of the combination of COVID-19 and pneumonia caused by Mycoplasma pneumoniae. A 2020 study indicates a significant increase in the mortality rate for adults hospitalized with COVID-19 when concurrently infected with Mycoplasma pneumoniae. Sparrow's primary worry is that the CCP might be fostering drug-resistant strains of a common and potentially lethal bacterium. One fact Beijing is downplaying is that in China, Mycoplasma pneumoniae has mutated into strains resistant to macrolide antibiotics, the only category of antibiotics safe for children under 8 years old. It is noteworthy that in China, Mycoplasma pneumoniae exhibits resistance to the macrolide antibiotic azithromycin at approximately 90%. The article points out that currently, there is no vaccine for Mycoplasma pneumoniae, and it seems unreasonable that there are no reported deaths from Mycoplasma pneumoniae in children or adults. However, China has not released any data on mortality rates or complications such as meningitis, among other extrapulmonary complications. The article states, Chinese doctors are now once again being silenced, with no communication with their foreign counterparts, indicating that China, the CCP, may be engaging in another potentially dangerous cover-up. Notably, as the Chinese epidemic garners international attention, mainland netizens revealed online today, December 1st, that Sichuan Tianfu Health Code and Guangdong's Yukong Code both show a green code. Images provided by netizens indicate real-time updates around 5 p.m. on December 1st. The term green code refers to a digital or electronic health status code that is often used in the context of health monitoring during pandemics or epidemics. In many cases, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, a green code is issued to individuals who meet certain health criteria, indicating that they are considered healthy and may have a lower risk of spreading infectious diseases. As per the report, as early as February 16, 2023, the official announcement of the discontinuation of Yukong Code stated that for offline services, we will also destroy all service-related data in accordance with relevant laws and regulations to effectively ensure personal information security. The reporter then contacted the Guangzhou Municipal Health Commission and the mayor's hotline as a citizen to inquire about relevant matters. The Health Commission staff stated that this matter is not under their jurisdiction, while the mayor's hotline staff mentioned that when they checked, they could also see the green code and asked if it had an impact on their life and travel. After the reporter replied that there was no impact, the staff said, "The epidemic has passed, and there is nothing wrong." Currently, it is unclear whether the reappearance of the green code is an error or a deliberate act by the authorities. Yunnan villagers unite against returning forests to farmland initiative, taking collective action to resist. On November 30th, a circulated video depicted hundreds of villagers gathering on a roadside along the mountainside. Many wore various colored safety helmets, and one villager with a red hat was seen lying on the ground, suggesting a recent conflict with official personnel. The informant claimed that this is part of the ongoing resistance by Hengyang County, Zhongzhi City, Yunnan Province, against the local Communist Party officials in opposition to the returning forests to farmland policy. Prior to this incident, videos had been circulating for several days, showing local villagers in a standoff with officials. Rumors circulated online that, despite strong opposition from villagers, the Hengyang County government continued to implement the returning forests and reclaiming farmland policy. On the 27th, a large number of official personnel went to Yinjiaozu, Pingjing Village, Jiaokui Town, to cut down the villagers' pepper trees, leading to protests from the locals who claimed that pepper trees were their only source of income. On November 14th, the government of Xiaokuoba Town in Hengyang County forcibly cut down bamboo in Daqiao Village, facing resistance from the villagers. The CCP has been implementing the returning forests to farmland nationwide, extensively logging and destroying forests, cutting down various non-food crops that villagers rely on for their livelihoods, causing widespread discontent. In June of this year, CCP media claimed that there was no official returning forests to farmland policy. The CCP officials also emphasized that reclaiming and cultivating should not be mandatory and should not be a one-size-fits-all approach. There were speculations outside China that this vigorous returning forests to farmland movement might be halted. However, in September, videos surfaced again, seemingly showing the forced destruction of orchards and the cutting down of economic crops in southern China, indicating that the returning forests to farmland movement is still ongoing in some areas. The CCP previously implemented returning forests to farmland, where a large amount of farmland was destroyed and planted with trees. In recent years, they have introduced returning forests to farmland, destroying farmland, orchards, fish ponds, breeding grounds, and even parks. Unsuitable mountain slopes have been transformed into so-called terraced fields, planted with rice. Critics have mockingly referred to this as the new era Great Leap Forward, likening the CCP's governance to flipping a pancake, where if one side is burnt, they turn to the other. Daring to sell anything. Hengyang's 1.8 billion yuan auction big data sparks public outrage. The CCP, facing a severe financial crisis, sees local governments selling off various public resources to raise funds, mockingly described as selling whatever they can. On November 10, the Hengyang Public Resources Trading Center announced the auction of the Hengyang Municipal Government Data Resources and Smart City Franchise Transfer Project via online bidding, with a starting price of 1.8 billion yuan, around $254 million. This marked the CCP's first official public auction of big data, which quickly triggered a backlash in public opinion. On November 15, the Hengyang Public Resources Trading Center issued another announcement to suspend the auction. Recently reported by Mainland media, the incident has reignited heated discussions among netizens. Many criticized the Hengyang authorities for their audacity to sell anything. Questions were raised about the legality of auctioning personal privacy without consent. Comments like "How much is my face worth in this data sale? They are crazy for money, and aren't they concerned about data and national defense security?" were widespread. Legal experts have pointed out that official big data containing extensive personal privacy, if sold openly, might constitute a criminal act. Under the CCP's rule, a significant amount of government information, which should be open and transparent, including officials' assets, is treated as state secrets requiring strict confidentiality. In contrast, citizens' personal information is often leaked and even traded for profit. Although there has been no public sale of big data by the CCP authorities before, the secret transfer or sale of personal information by officials is not uncommon. Various related black market transactions are rampant online, including tracking personal itineraries and packaging and selling personal information. Many fraud groups also possess a vast amount of phone numbers and personal details, allegedly sourced from government departments or telecommunication groups. Local governments under the CCP are financially strained and have been selling various public resources in recent years. In addition to auctioning government data, local authorities have also auctioned off decades-long operating rights for various public services at high prices, criticized as collecting all the money of future generations in advance. In June this year, it was revealed online that the 30-year operating rights for the Leshan giant Buddha in Sichuan had been auctioned by local authorities as early as 2021 for 1.7 billion yuan. In August 2022, Rongjiang County in Guizhou sold a 20-year franchise of a funeral home for an exorbitant price of 126.8 million, sparking an online backlash. There are concerns that if these costs are passed on to the public, people might not afford funeral services in the future. In July 2022, Langzhong City in Nanchong, Sichuan, auctioned a 30-year franchise for a unified food ingredient distribution service for official agencies and public schools in the city at a price of 180 million yuan, but it was later suspended amid public condemnation. Xia's arrest revealed, Zhongzhi Department's 6th chairman unreachable. A few days ago, the Beijing police reported the arrest of Xia Mumu and several others from the Zhongzhi group, without disclosing the specific identities of the arrested. Recent news reveals that the chairpersons of 4 major wealth management companies under the Zhongzhi group, as well as 2 companies controlled by the group's late founder Xia Zhikuan, have all disappeared. The identity of the Xia Mumu mentioned by the police has also been exposed. The Zhongzhi group, known for its enormous size and influential connections, has finally collapsed. After revealing a debt hole of approximately 220 to 260 billion yuan and severe insolvency, the Chaoyang branch of the Beijing Municipal Public Security Bureau announced on the evening of November 25 that it had taken criminal coercive measures against Xia Mumu and several other criminal SUS. Packs of the wealth management companies under Zhongzhi group. Since then, there has been constant speculation about the identity of Xia Mumu mentioned in the police report and the identities of the others arrested. According to an article published by the Chinese online media technology Finance Online on November 30, the Xia Mumu subject to criminal coercive measures by Beijing police is Xia Zhijing, vice president of the Zhongzhi group and nephew of the group's founder Xia Zhikuan. Currently, the chairpersons of the 4 major wealth management companies under the Zhongzhi group have lost contact with the outside world. The article disclosed that the son and daughter of Xie Shikuan and his wife Mao Amin were not significantly involved in the group's operations. However, Xie Shikuan's daughter from a previous marriage, Xie Redong, his sister's son Liu Yang, and nephew Xie Shendu held important positions in the group. Xie Zizhen had been responsible for investment business in Zhongzhi Group and served as the chairman of Zhonghai Shingrong, Beijing, Capital Management Group Company, Limited. He quietly left the directorship of Zhonghai Shingrong in July this year. Moreover, senior executives and sales staff from Hentian Wealth, Xinhe Wealth, Datang Wealth, and Daoxing Wealth, all under Zhongzhi Group, were arrested. These companies, crucial financing platforms of the group, are now unreachable. Recently, two companies, Meijijim and Tianshan Biotech, announced that their chairpersons Ma Hongying and Ma Changshui, respectively, had disappeared. Both companies were unable to contact their chairpersons, with the reasons for their sudden loss of contact still unknown. Reports suggest that these two companies were also controlled by the late founder of the Zhongzhi Group, Xie Shikuan. Founded in 1995, Zhongzhi Holding controls over 10 listed companies and holds multiple financial licenses. With its massive scale, state-owned enterprise background, and high returns ranging from 8% to 9%, it has attracted a large number of investors. The company's minimum investment threshold is over 1 million yuan. Commentator: China today only needs one gunshot. A month following the sudden death of former Chinese Premier Li Keqiang, CCP leader Xi Jinping visited Shanghai, signaling a commitment to China's reform and opening up. Independent commentator Kai Shenkuan remarked that today's China resembles the late Qing dynasty, lacking only a gunshot to ignite significant change. In a November 28 article on the X platform, Kai Shenkuan compared the current situation to that of Empress Dowager Cixi, who initially opposed reform and executed reformists, only to later embrace substantial changes due to external pressures. He noted Empress Dowager Cixi, facing situational demands for survival, ended up implementing reforms even more extensive than what Emperor Guangxu had envisioned. Yet, it was too late. When reform becomes a trend, any reactive changes cannot prevent the dynasty's inevitable collapse. In another post, Kai highlighted Xi Jinping's recent Shanghai visit, drawing parallels to Deng Xiaoping's southern tour, an attempt to boost public confidence in China's economic prospects and commitment to reform. He remarked, "The current international situation and domestic political atmosphere are vastly different from China 30 years ago. Especially after a sweeping zero-COVID lockdown and crackdown on the international financial hub, public confidence is shattered. Trying to use deceptive lies to regain trust is unlikely to work, both domestically and internationally." Kai believes that today's China resembles the late Qing dynasty, only lacking a gunshot to trigger a major upheaval. Netizens commented, "History doesn't simply repeat itself, but the principles behind it remain largely the same." Another remarked, "It feels like the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty, with chaos looming." China's economy has continued to struggle this year, with a mass exodus of foreign investment, numerous private businesses folding, a surge in unemployment, a real estate crisis, a sluggish stock market, reduced public sector wages, and layoffs in major internet companies. The ongoing pandemic has only exacerbated the difficulties faced by ordinary citizens. Meanwhile, power struggles within the CCP elite have intensified. Following Li Keqiang's mysterious death in Shanghai, high-ranking officials including the foreign minister and defense minister were dismissed, and a sweeping purge of the military ensued, creating widespread unease within the ranks. Speculation is rife that these military leaders, once promoted by the CCP leader, are now being purged, indicating instability and a lack of trust within the military. As previously reported, amidst these internal and external challenges, discussions about rising in rebellion are becoming more prominent among the public. A video asking when to rise in rebellion was posted on the Chinese video platform Bilibili on November 16, analyzing historical factors but strongly hinting at the current situation, causing a stir among viewers. The The video stated, if you want to rebel, you need a reason, whether it's the government forcing you into hard labor without pay, or a landlord's high interest rates making your home loan unaffordable. It reflects the notion that you're forced into this, it's not your fault, but the world's. Some netizens expressed their support, declaring, "The time to rebel is now." Recently, former Colonel Yao Cheng of the CCP's Navy Command Staff also said on the X platform, "Now, if just one army group takes the lead in raising the banner of rebellion, it would be enough, as everyone is waiting, just missing a leader." Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. If you find the information helpful, please share this video with a friend to watch together. This will be a great source of motivation for our team to produce more and more quality and reliable videos. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths. Thank you for tuning in.